And welcome back to Lee Street Beat. I'm Sandra along with T the Man. How you doing, T?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Sarah?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. You know, considering I'm a woman of a certain age, I'm doing pretty good, man.
That's good to hear. There's a lot of people who didn't make it to that certain age, so it's good to hear that you're doing good and you're still alive and kicking.
That's right. Well, man, we got some feel-good stories we want to talk about. You know, I think we all, got a warm heart when we saw the story about the 2 dogs and a goat, man, in Kansas.
The dog's name was Bo, and they said Bo is a very friendly dog, and this family lives on a farm in Kansas, and Bo got away. he ran off. As a matter of fact, my neighbor down the street actually has a husky, and it ran off. You know, sometimes they just want to run free,
Yeah.
But so they were looking for Bo, and then somebody told the family that they seen Bo. So they went out there to retrieve Bo, and
Bo didn't come by itself.
Yeah, no, Bo did not come by itself. So what Bo came back with was 2 more friends. Bo got that kind of personality. Like, he wants to know, so like, hey, guess what? I'm going home. You can come with me. So he brings back another friend, Libby and Ozzy. So one is a goat and one is another dog.
I thought it was real cute when they all jumped in the SUV together, when he got them all in there.
Ozzy is a white lab. It looks like to be a white lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yep, they all climbed in the truck and went for a ride. Apparently, Libby the goat doesn't know that she's a goat.
She does not. She couldn't.
Yeah. And you know what? And if you get a chance to go out there on video and look it up, put in Bo, the dog with the goat.
2 dogs and a goat.
You can see the picture of the 2 of them. There's also a video out there about them by Kyle Pryor. I guess he's the husband of his wife. Her name is oh gosh, I missed her name. But anyway, he recorded them running towards them. And it's a feel good story, and we really appreciate seeing something good on the news for once, something that we can laugh at. I appreciate it. It was heartwarming.
It was heartwarming, especially when they all jumped in the SUV, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another heartwarming story to me was finding out that the young 3-year-old North Carolina boy who had been out playing in his great-grandmother's backyard with his 2 cousins out there in the cold and the snow and everything was found safe, I mean, when it was first reported that he was missing, it's just like anything, you feel like, golly, I hope that, nobody got the young boy. And, I hope that they find him. I hope that they find him to be well. But you know what? He actually just got out the hospital today, and he's doing just fine. I'm so happy for the family. I'm so happy for the little boy being able to come home. When they found him, he was stuck in some thicket, and he couldn't get out. But I almost feel like that might have been a blessing, so he couldn't go no further.
Was he chasing behind Bird Rabbit?
He might have been.
Well, the fact was he was missing for 2 days, and they found him. And he seems to be in good health, that he's going to recover. And it was nothing tragic that happened to him, because so many times these kids, these young children, they run away, and it's always a tragic ending. If they don't find him in the first 24 hours, it's usually a sad story. And we're happy today to say that little Casey Hathaway ran away from home, but came back safe. And I just want to say, anybody that got young kids, young grandkids, they can run faster than you.
Yeah, 2-year-olds, 2, 3-year-olds. I mean, they are fast.
They can run faster than you. They don't seem to get tired. That's why they can run all day. So you got to keep your eyes on them. You cannot take your eyes off them. I remember my grandson, when he was young, and granddaughters, we would go to the park. Got to have your eyes on them. Your head is constantly going back like this, looking around, seeing where they are, keeping a mental thing is. And as soon as they get out of your sight, you got to get up and look and tell them to come back or get back into the sight to see exactly what they're doing. You just can't assume that this is a safe world anymore. Now,
Well, he was out there playing with his two cousins, and I don't think great grandma was even looking out the window for him.
no, because they get relaxed. They out there with the other kids. You hear the kids, making noise, so it's okay, and they're screaming and they're having fun. But then all of a sudden, like, you look up there, where is he at? The kids say, I don't know. He was here a minute ago.
Yeah.
And then the panic sets. We went to Disney World one year, and my granddaughter wanted to ride on Little Mermaid, and my grandson didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
We turned around, he was gone. And I just want to tell you, no matter what race your child is, when your child is missing and you in a large park, they all begin to look alike.
Exactly.
I was turning around little Asian boys looking to see if that was him. But we went to Disney, we went to the security office, and the first thing they put out is that missing parent. We were the missing ones, missing parents. And they actually went on the camera system, and it's really sophisticated, state of the art. They looked at us at our last position, and they just followed him to see where he went. And we found him over there by this go-kart thing, standing in line.
You trying to get it on another ride?
You had to be, you had to be a certain height. I think you had to be 5 feet to get in the thing. He wasn't quite that. He was like at 4'10", so he was too young to get in. Now he's 6'1", So I never knew he'd grow that tall. But yeah, you just can't take your eyes off of him, but I'm just happy that they were able to find him, and that was a good story. And of course, I guess you heard about the Warriors coming to Washington, D.C. to go to see the president that they recognize, number 44, Barack Hussein Obama.
That's right. They did not stop by the White House at all. They went to see President Obama in an undisclosed location. They took a great picture with him. They said they spent a couple hours with him. I just love those kind of stories. It just lets us, all just remember the good times, when it was, we had a president in the White House and everybody respected him and respected, the man and the office. And it's just good to see Steph Curry and the rest of the Warriors, going to visit Barack Obama. He's a big basketball fan anyway, and it was just a great picture to see them all there smiling,
And not only that, Steph Curry golf, so, that's one of his golfing buddies, Barack Obama. Everybody wants to be a golfing buddy with Barack. Even I want to be a golfing buddy with Barack. I know he's going to beat me. So that's why we have to do a foursome, because I'm not going to be called out. So I have to get you and Richard to come, and so we do the foursome with Barack,
Okay. Yeah, we got to take him on like that.
Yeah, we got to take him on like that, So we're going to take a little break. We're going to try to do this a little different. We're going to take a break here for a second, and we'll be back in about 1 minute. So you guys hold on and subscribe. Please subscribe. We want to hear comments and everything. People are probably wondering why S. Hacker is not today. S. Hacker has a part-time job, and so she's happened to be working today. But she'll be back. She dips in and she dips out. We appreciate her thing, but she's not here. But anyway, subscribe. Beats is T the Man and Sandra Tucker again. And so we're going to talk about a few other things. So we'll talk about Stacy Abrams.
Yeah, Stacy Abrams is, thank God she's still out there in the political world. She's continuing her effort to fight. She came close to winning and making history as the first female African-American governor, but she fell short of votes. No doubt, voter suppression had a large, reason why she didn't get the win. Brian Kemp was instrumental in that voter suppression. But she's coming out and telling Democrats that we can win by expanding our electorate, and that we should not be running against Donald Trump, and that we need to connect with the voters who really share the party's values. And I think that's a great way for us to take a look at how we're going to try to attack this problem in 2020. There's so many things that really need to be done. I mean, everybody knows that Donald Trump is in that he's an idiot and he's not a politician. He knows nothing about what he's doing. You can't really run against him. You just need to run for the values of the party.
Absolutely. Stacey got the right idea. Running against Trump directly head up it could end up being a losing proposition. So, you know what, let's run on our values, the things that we believe in, the things that we believe in as Americans, that we know right from wrong without this perversion of stealing, lying, and being greedy is a good attribute. So I'm glad they have Stacy say something like that. And speaking of some other things that kind of a little disturbing was, in a way, that Prince Phillip, Queen Elizabeth's husband, didn't realize that Meghan Markle was a woman of color, that she's an African American, and that nobody has told the 94-year-old prince that she is. So
he's making the whole family uncomfortable with him not knowing this.
Right. So he's been going around talking about his times in Africa, making some inappropriate statements about Africans, and not realizing that his grandson, Harry, is married to somebody of African descent.
Yeah, he's been referring to the African nations and their musings, calling the inhabitants bongo chappies and spear chuckers. He's an old man, and he thinks that, this type of conversation is appropriate, and he calls himself entertaining people by, going back and talking about these days when he, was younger and he visited Africa. But it's very insensitive for him to speak about his grandson's, wife, who is a person of color, like that. He just don't know. Her mother is African American.
Right. And as we know, in the Black community, sometimes that genetic tumbler flips all dark. Now, chances is, because Harry, she's real fair skinned, Harry is white, they would come out with a light skinned child, looking near white. But then again,
you never know.
It could come out with some dark skin, and he's going to be shocked and say, "What happened?" And the hair seems to be kind of coarse.
Hair of wool.
That hair, that she's going to take some features of the Black side of the family. And if that hair is coarse, I know they want to say that it's curly, because that's what they come up with. But if it's coarse, hey, you know what?
They got to pull out the straightening comb.
Right. I guess he don't know his granddaughter-in-law, is uses a Brazilian relaxer,
Okay. Her hair is not naturally like that.
But she like most women of color, Black women, they don't like to get their hair wet. So we'll see.
I got natural hair, and I don't like to get it wet.
Talk about the little baby bongo chappie.
See, it's horrible. Spiritual chuckers, horrible.
Yep.
Somebody needs to check that old man. Shame on him.
Well, I'm quite sure they'll try to do it in a nice, polite way.
It don't matter how you do it. He ain't gonna remember. He's still gonna try to tell them stories. He's not gonna remember.
Well, the person to tell him is the Queen. So let the Queen tell him.
Yeah. And she should stop him when he forgets.
Charles should go to say, to him, and tell his mother, the Queen, "Mommy, can you talk to Daddy?
He's doing too much.
That Megan is biracial, that she's half Black. Please tell him, Mommy, that his great-granddaughter, in-law is half Black."
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Exactly.
Half Black.
She's not just American, she's biracial.
She's not just American, she's also Black.
Okay, exactly. Well, T, you alerted me to this story, man. These stories always just make me cringe. Oregon man Kenneth Duyak pleaded guilty to sexual assault of an animal, unlawful use of a motor vehicle, and second-degree burglary in a Washington County courtroom. He was found guilty of sexually abusing a horse. They gave him 20 months of imprisonment. These kind of stories, T, they break my heart. We both are animal lovers. And when you find somebody who's this sick that would do something like this, man, you know, it hurts my heart. Thank God the owner's daughter was a veterinarian and she noticed that the animal had been sexually assaulted. I mean, that's just gotta hurt the owner as well, man.
I don't know where this depravity comes from. I mean, it's just like it's a bumper crop of depraved people. Um, he wanted to sleep in the barn with the horse, and the owners told him no. Thank God there weren't no sheep, any dogs, or any chickens in there with him. I don't, you know, I mean, I just can't wrap my head around that kind of sickness. They gave him 20 months in jail. They should give him 5 years in a mental hospital because this bestiality thing, I don't know.
And I think part of the sentencing as well is something to the effect that he can't own any animals for like 12 years or whatever. I'm like, to me, that should be like a lifetime ban. He shouldn't be anywhere near, he shouldn't be able to be like 2 miles within any farm, you know? I mean, it's just a horrible, horrible story, man.
They should give him a ban so he can't even go into a pet store.
He should be able to go to the zoo.
Right, you know. If he want to see an animal, he needs to see it virtually, you know, watch it through Natural Geographic.
Well, for him, that's porn, you know. He watched the Animal Channel all day. That's like porn to him.
Yeah, well, that's what he needs to do. But, hey, you know, I guess he thought that horse couldn't tell, but other people could tell. So, yeah. You know, listen, these sick folks, there's no end to them. And speaking of other sick people, the monster that he is, this perverted monster, I'm not going to call him a dog or a wolf because they're part of the animal kingdom and they have rules and they have laws within their own society. But this monster, R. Kelly, is at it again and it's coming out about his relationship that's online that disputes Sparkle.
Yeah. Members of his former group came out and they said that, you know, Sparkle was originally married to one of the members, and you know we saw the docuseries, but apparently she didn't tell everything. It seems that when they wanted to get her involved in making her own album, they gave the information to R. Kelly. He said that he would produce her. And he told her that she had to stay in the studio and sleep in the studio for 30 days straight in order for, you know, her to get her album done. And it was at that time that they said that even though she was married, that she engaged in sexual activity, allegedly, with him and other women. And that eventually those women, you know, kind of were left to the side and that it was just her and R. Kelly. You know, she didn't tell that side of the story. But again, you know, none of this negates the fact that R. Kelly is a monster, you know. Yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna tell the story, then just tell the real story.
Well, she's not gonna tell on herself.
Yeah, but everybody else did.
Well, apparently she want to keep herself in good light. We talked about this off camera, and I told you then, not everybody's hands in there is dirty, including Miss Sparkle. I told you there was a relationship between her and R. Kelly. This person goes into a lot more details and the background on how it began and what exactly what they're doing. It makes you wonder that this 14-year-old girl, was she involved with her too? And she's a relative, so we don't know. And I'm not trying to put no insinuation out there that she did, but we're just saying that we don't know at this point, or maybe we do know, we haven't heard.
Yeah. Well, you know, here in Georgia, we've had a horrible incident that happened last weekend at the Opera nightclub. A lady,
terrible.
Yeah, she Facebook Live her own rape at the Opera nightclub, and apparently it was also captured on video by somebody else. You know, when these people go to the club and they're drinking alcohol, you have to be careful. I mean, her name was Jasmine Elin, and she appeared to be raped on the dance floor. And you just heard her screaming, help and stop and please help me. And, you know, you have to, you know, people slip stuff in people's drinks, and that's what was alleged, is that she was drugged. I just hope that they find the person or persons who did this. And I know she Facebook Lived herself, but somebody else did as well. My thing is, you see something like that happening, you videotape it, you only got to post it. You need to just take it straight to the police, you know? I mean, I have to kind of forgive her a little bit in posting it because, I mean, she was, you know, inebriated and probably drugged. But you know what? I don't understand why these people need to take advantage of people all the time. And they said that, they also said that she was taken in the back of the club and sexually assaulted again. So, you know, women, you guys got to be really careful. You know, you got all kind of situations where people try to take advantage of you. And when you go to the club with each other, you need to leave together. You need to watch over each other. It was her birthday. What a horrible, horrible birthday.
Yeah, this is very disturbing. Just to hear this and the details surrounding that. I didn't know that she was Facebooking her own self, and I didn't realize she was assaulted again for the second time. I did see the link on the video. You can obviously see that her top was down. All these people around her, what, y'all didn't know that there's something going on? They knew. They just looked the other way because they thought it was fun, it was game. Somebody they knew, it was sick entertainment. That's what it was. So, but hopefully they're gonna eventually find this person.
Yeah.
And they're gonna suffer the fullest extent of the law, and rightfully so. So I don't wanna hear no cry saying from his family, like, well, she wanted it, she said it was okay, she never said stop. You know, all the excuses they give for sexual assault. Yeah, he needs to be dealt with, and dealt with harshly.
Absolutely.
You know, this is just damn disturbing because when you have a mother, you have sisters, you have a daughter, you have grandkids, and you have friends that are female, you never ever want something like that to happen to them. And
it was heartbreaking to watch.
Go to the club because he smiled, he looked good, he looked buff, you know, and he seemed kind. Girl, the devil doesn't always dress up as a dirty old man. Sometimes they look handsome and nice. Know who you're dealing with, and like the old saying going, be very wary of strangers. You know, with that, Sandra, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna have to take a break here because I gotta compose myself because I get to cussing and I don't really wanna get banned from YouTube right now. So let's take a 5-minute break and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's T the Man and Sandra Tucker, and we're back. And one of our most favorite topics that we love to talk about is our girl, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, otherwise known by her moniker, AOC.
Yes.
This week, Sarah Razorback Sanders happened
Sarah Huckabee
about AOC and climate. Saying that it was that, let me see if I can get the exact quote here, she says, White House patronizes freshmen and tells her to leave climate change up to God.
Yes. Man down here messing everything up, but we're going to leave it up to God.
Yeah. So, you know, as stewards of the planet, the Lord puts us, man, in charge to become good stewards. That means you don't pollute the waters. You don't abuse things. You don't abuse the air. And apparently, these people in the Trump administration think that that smog is good for your lungs, or carcinogens in the air is good for the human body.
Well, you know, Sarah Huckabee was raised in the church. You know, her daddy was a preacher, so I guess she thinks she knows the Bible. But AOC taught her a little something. She quoted Genesis on her twice, and then threw Leviticus up in there.
Yeah. And let me read what AOC told the daughter of a preacher. Genesis first. God looked upon the world and called it good. Not once, not twice, but 7 times. Genesis 2, second time. God commands all people to serve and protect creation. All people. So,
including the Trump administration.
That's to resonate with some of them. You know, serve and protect. So that means them little babies in the cages down there in Texas, those migrants come across the thing, you need to serve and protect them. So don't sit here and talk that hypocritical shit, talking about that, you know, like they're terrorists. I'm yet to see a 3-year-old Tyler be a terrorist crawling because he looks for a pacifier. But okay. let me digest. And the final thing she told Sarah, God mandates not only people, but the land sustains them shall be respected. In other words, respect people, respect the land. But that's apparently right. This president and her don't have no respect. He has no respect for the law. She has no respect for the truth. And he has no respect for the truth.
None at all. And, the first thing the Trump administration did was, roll back a lot of the mandates that President Obama had put out, to stop these people from polluting the water and polluting the air. And, they didn't like those regulations. So they kept saying that, this is, choking capitalism. And that's one of the first things that they did is they rolled all of that back. And you know what? I love that AOC has got a green initiative. I think a lot of people are going to get on board with it. These people, Trump said pretty much himself that he didn't care because he wasn't going to be here. So you got a bunch of old people who don't care about the earth, who want to just get rich by doing everything that they can, by disparaging, the land, disparaging the air. And, AOC is like, look, I am 29. I plan to have, kids and grandkids. And it's up to us to make sure that they have a decent place to live. And you all don't care. Don't, say that you all are Christians and then turn around and do it, allow people to just make money off of, being egregious toward the earth.
Yeah. Well, she said the right thing, and she told her right, obviously Sarah didn't have a comeback. I guess she had to go ask her daddy, what are we going to say to this? Because she quoted the Bible on me.
He probably went to the Bible and said, you know what, she was right on that. I ain't got no comeback on that.
Yeah, she's right on that.
Because there's nothing in the Bible that says that, you should be able to do what you're doing and disrespect the earth. There's nothing in the Bible.
Well, it's not in the New Testament either.
Old Testament either.
So, then, of course, the big thing was the shutdown, the self-generated shutdown of the country. And he had to walk it back. He got handed to him.
Way back.
He was annihilated. He was destroyed because Nancy Pelosi, the woman that he didn't think he had to answer to, he had a bend, and to use his favorite word, he had a cave in.
It's cave.
I hope he implodes. That's what I want him to do, him and his presidency. But I'll start with the cave in. Now, his veiled threat again is that he'll doesn't get a deal by February 15th, that he'll want to shut down the government again or declare a national emergency. He ain't shutting down his government again.
As much as I think that Mitch McConnell's a tool, I don't think that Mitch McConnell's going to let him do that. But you know what? If he goes there, I think they're going to, have so many votes that he can't veto it. And if he goes and calls for an emergency, the courts are going to kick it out because it's like, if it was an emergency, that'd be something that we should have done immediately. It can't be an emergency because you just didn't get your way. That's not what an emergency is. That's not the power of the presidency. And he will find out. And once he finds out and that stuff gets kicked out of court, then he can go to his base and say, you know what? I did everything I could. The Democrats are for open borders. They're not for open borders. But we want you to stop being an old crazy man and embrace technology. You can't send an email. He's talking about, well, you know what? We want technology too, but see, we can put the technology on top of the wall.
Well, listen, I don't know what the problem is. He said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Why don't he go over there and campaign in Mexico and ask them for the wall?
Where them pesos at?
They told him the same thing that the rest of America is telling them. We ain't paying for no wall. We don't want no wall. So you go over there, since you made that deal with Mexico to pay for the wall, a one-sided deal, just you talking to the Mexicans because they never agreed. And now you want us to agree because you agreed that you want it? No, that's not how it works in life. There is no wall. We don't want no damn wall. The only wall we want is a four-sided wall with bars and you inside that wall. And I want a federal penitentiary on the outside. That's the wall we want you in, so you can be safe and secure from the rest of us.
And you know, we just had a celebration this past Monday for the Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, and Mike Pence had nerve enough to quote Martin Luther King, and it's like they kept showing video of Martin Luther King talking about how wrong it was to build walls and that we shouldn't be separated. But he tried to equate some quote of Martin Luther King with what Donald Trump is doing, and I mean they chewed his ass up and they spat him out.
Yeah, well, you know, Mike Pence, he finally, Trump told him that he could speak. So, you know, obviously, you know, him and the chief eunuch, Mitch McConnell. And if you don't know what a eunuch is, you look it up. I think it's spelled E-N-O-U-C-H. You know, always bow and acquiesce to his demands. But Nancy, not being a eunuch, but does have brass balls. She's a mother and a grandmother. She knows how to handle somebody.
She does it so eloquently. You know, she's not nasty like Donald Trump. She doesn't have to name call. You know, she wields her power in a different way than Donald Trump's ever seen. And I do believe that, you know, to a certain extent that he has to respect her. You know, he has to respect her because, I mean, she handed him his lunch and said, hey, you know what? We're going to do border security, but we're not going to build a wall. And if you don't think so, I promise you, when we send you the new bill, there's no wall, you know?
Right.
He doesn't want to embrace technology, and his administration has evidence to show that everything that we need on that border does not entail a wall. They don't want you going around trying to take these people's land, and that's not what's needed there. What they need is more border security. They need more judges there, and they need to stop treating the people like they're coming over here invading this United States. They're coming over here because they're oppressed in where they're at. They're coming over here, women and babies, and they want jobs. And stop talking about them as if they're not human beings. That's what they want. Yeah. He says if there's a human crisis, the crisis is created by you and your administration.
Right. You know, listen, he can solve it. He doesn't want to solve it. Apparently, he takes his orders from Sean Hannity, Ann Coulter, Russ Limbaugh, and the far right. You know, they tell him what to do, but they never ran a country. Apparently, he hasn't ran a country, and it ain't working out too good either. So
he's running the country like he's running his business in the ground.
Well, I'm gonna give Donald Trump. I usually not having to give him president's advice, but let me give you a little bit of advice. Do not ever take advice that somebody is stupider than you. And in this case, Ann Coulter is a lot dumber than you. But you were the fool to listen to her. So at the end of the day, they're not going to say Ann Coulter shut down the country. They're going to say that Donald Trump shut down the country. And speaking of friends of Trump, Roger Dodger Stone
he went out like Nixon.
Yeah, he went out like Nixon. And you know, Nixon got on that helicopter and flew off, and the last thing we heard about him that he was dead. So that's it. And even, you know, so
this comes out that Jerome Corsi says that he's going to tell the truth now, and I guess him and Roger Stone are going to have you know, they're not going to be best friends anymore. But well, you know, if you listen to Donald Trump, he says that, you know, he's already trying to distance himself from Roger Stone. But him and Roger Stone, they've been knowing each other. In fact, Roger Stone used to deal with Donald Trump's dad. That's just how far they go back.
Yeah, they go back. You know, listen, that's why he got Roger Stone. Trump likes to surround, which is good in some ways, surround people that you know, but, you know, he surrounds himself around a bunch of dirty tricksters and criminals. That's the element he hangs with. But you know what? This should be a wake-up call to Donald Trump. Even better, a wake-up call to Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. And I know y'all thinking that Bill Barr is going to come in there and save Donald Trump. I'm going to think a little bit different here. I believe that Bill Barr is the ringer who threw the letter in for you to bite. I hope I'm right.
I hope you are too, bro.
I hope I'm right. And if he do, bye-bye Trump.
Yep.
People go away just like your university did. And by the way, did Trump University hand out any more honorary degrees?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. I just want to know. I want to know if Ann Coulter got one and Russ Limbaugh and Sean Hannity got one. You know, if he got still some around in the warehouse, go ahead and send him some.
Yeah, he may have some leftover inventory.
Send him some honorary degrees, you know, I don't know. So anyway, that's our show for this week on Lee Street Beat. You know, we're gonna try to, we need some suggestions. If you got some suggestions, what we're gonna talk about. One of the things we want to talk about, or we're gonna talk about in the future, we're gonna talk about this new, the new age of dating. Now, I don't date because I'm married. But you single, Sandra.
I don't date.
And as Hacker, she's single. So apparently they got new terms for dating. You know,
we'll try to figure that out next time.
Yeah, we're gonna try to figure it out. Now, I want y'all to explain to me, you single people, how that go. You know,
I'll have to look it up.
You know, I already got my soulmate, so I'm gonna. Well, I'll keep her at least another 5 years. She see this, she's gonna have my ass. You know that.
Good luck on that, bro.
You know, so yeah, but you know, so we're gonna talk about other things like dating, parenting, things that we all got something in common, you know, and try to get away from all the insanity if we can. We try to find good stories. So if you got a good story or something positive and uplifting out there, we would like to hear. So until next week, this is Lee Street Beat, T the Man, and Sandra Tucker, and saying also goodbye from S Hacker. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.